Let's finally talk summer trends. Welcome to one of my favorite videos to film and topics to talk about. First, I want to start off with the disappearance of micro trends. I feel like this is so interesting because for the past 5 or 6 or even 7 or 8 seasons of fashion, autumn, winter, and spring, summer over the past few years, we've seen so many of these little aesthetics pop up, such as office siren, mermaid siren core, coastal grandma, mob wife. What else? Cottage core, ballet core, you get the point. And it's so interesting that suddenly we're in this point of time in fashion where everything's very simplistic, focused on form and structure and silhouette, with a neutral tone rather than these crazy colors and crazy costuming and characters to become, where I don't want to say that that has disappeared specifically, but I think that the way that it's disappeared is this very hyper quick turnaround of just new characters that everyone has to be in fashion. Like, I think that instead of playing dress up, it was really this kind of pushed out fake persona that like people would cling to until the next one came along, and then they'd completely reinvent their personality into this next aesthetic. And I think we've finally gotten over it. I think that personal style has come into fashion more than just clinging onto a fake personality that you see online. So I don't know, I think it's really interesting and it's fun to talk about because I think this is the first time I could talk about a season of trends, current trends rather than predictions, where everything isn't really new. Like, I think that everything we've been seeing is the same as we've been seeing for at least the spring. Definitely differences in the winter and autumn just because of, the way that those are different silhouettes altogether, different weather, but I feel like we're not really going crazy with a brand new thing as quickly as we have. But that being said, I want to talk about all of my favorite current summer trends. And while these may be repetitive in the fact that people have already discussed them and talked about them, including myself, I just want to point out all the things that are really fun and inspiring and my favorite things that I want to try this summer. So the first trend that I've noticed that has stayed in popularity this summer are stripes. And I don't mean subtle stripes, pin stripes, things like that. I mean like big, thick contrast stripes. And I think that this is more related to indie, grunge, indie sleaze, somewhat punk silhouettes, and I really love it for that reason. There's also a lot of Japanese designers that take on this kind of style, such as Comme des Garçons and many kind of smaller, unnamed Japanese designers, but you'll go on Depop and you'll see like Japanese designer, but they won't really, I don't know, it's just more of like a style rather than a specific brand. I've noticed online, I want to talk about this while I talk about stripes, although it's very relevant to some of the other trends, is that there are a lot of stylists I notice online who have this very specific fittings aesthetic where they'll really go creative when it comes to fittings and post a very specific kind of image with their own styling, but it's from a fitting. I find that really interesting because I think that as a stylist, when you're working with other people, it's hard to always fall in line with the concept that you're working on. Even if you do love it, sometimes it just doesn't go exactly as planned. It's hard sometimes, even from a photographer's perspective, if you're focusing on a creative director's directing and you don't fall in line with it even though you put your hardest work into it, blah blah. This is a tangent. Anyway, so I think it's really cool that these stylists are able to really express themselves creatively in their own terms. Like, it's really just basic, the outfit, but the aesthetic behind it is really cool. So a Depop shop that does their own like product shots in this sort of stylist fitting style is Grey Room Shop, and I talk about them a lot. But they have a lot of pieces that fall into this really cool indie stripe situation. A couple of other stylists that I noticed that do this same fitting style. I love that this is literally about stripes, but I'm talking about like a fitting aesthetic. But it makes sense because stripes are very much part of the aesthetic that I'm talking about. So some of those stylists are Joe Cher, Teresa GRS, and Cause You Don't Feel Like Me. Although I think Cause You Don't Feel Like Me is a brand, but you see what I mean? It's this really cool, curated, simple, but very edgy and just cool kind of fitting vibe. Two more small brands that I like that do a lot of stripy pieces are Lucilla Safdie, and I've talked about them a lot because I love their pieces, their storyline, just everything about this brand, and I really want some of the pieces. They fall in line with the aesthetics that I love so well. Just all of their creative direction, the fact that they call themselves like Uniform Shop or something on Instagram, and just their stories in general. I think that their most recent collection had a really cool title to it. It was just like very, very storytelling and fun, cinematic. Let me find her. It was called like I Desire the Things That Will Destroy Me in the End, because their style does encompass a party aesthetic. It is that kind of cinematic, just like toxic, self-destructive catchphrase or whatever. But for the whole, just telling a story about characters that aren't perfect, I don't know, I find it so cool. Plus, I think that for people like me specifically, since I am pretty wholesome and don't really do much of the partying or toxic, self-destructive behaviors, but still really enjoy the aesthetic of that kind of world, the cinematic view of it, the Tumblr, indie, you know. And I like it in terms of pictures and a visual aesthetic. It's really fun to just play dress up and enter these worlds without having to actually be in them myself. So I've always loved their work, loved their sets, the tank top and the micro shorts. I'm going to talk about micro shorts later. And then another brand that has been recently doing really cool stripy pieces is Cat. I don't know how to pronounce it properly because I feel like it's the end of someone's name, like the designer's name. But they have these really cool, like, slouchy sculptural pieces that they've been doing recently, and I'm obsessed with them. I love the way that they just form. Like, I find that designers right now are so creative in terms of shape and sculpture. It's just really fun to see because I feel like the possibilities that I've been seeing from other people's creations has widened my mind a little bit in terms of what you can do in fashion, and it's really fun to see. In my spring trends predictions video, I talked about how checkerboard can come back, but not in the way that's like 2016 California, Sydney Carlson. Not that's it, like, I'm not bashing Sydney Carlson, I love her, but like the way, Tana Mojo, like the way that they dressed like checkerboard was really fast fashion-ish, tacky kind of thing. It was kind of like, what else? Like Santa Cruz skateboards, stuff like that. But I'm starting to notice that I think, especially with the way that stripes and polka dots have taken center stage in the trend cycle and indie aesthetics, I think that we can elevate checkerboard and make it into something similarly cool. I've been seeing a lot of patterns and designs where the checkerboards are slightly like, I'm going to try to describe this, but kind of like going downwards. I think like I have to draw a picture, but I don't know. I'm going to insert a picture of what I mean. Just kind of like this off-centered sort of checkerboard. I feel like it elevates it a lot more. Maybe I can find a brand that did this rather than drawing a picture, but I really feel like now is the time to bring back checkerboard, but in a much better way. Like, there's no way that our only opportunity for a checkerboard pattern is this tacky, awful, like, Shein cider looking situation. But it was really cool because I recently saw Brenda Hashtag, who's known for wearing all black or all white, or a combination of the two, with the designers that she likes, was wearing a top that was checkerboard. And I'm like, see, like, if she does it, then I feel like it has to be elevated and has huge potential to be elevated because she's very, very, very particular and very just good taste. Like, she's very into really interesting architecture and designers that are, you know, like, what's the word, like, archival, but like not, like, she just has good taste and is very sophisticated. So I think that if she could put on a checkerboard, I'm like, come on, this can happen. I love it. Yeah. Otherwise, I have a lot of pieces on Depop saved from designers such as Comme des Garçons again. And I see so many pieces where a checkerboard is made to look really good, and I 100% see the potential, especially when the game of chess is so popular lately. In New York City, there's Club Chess, which is at Le Bain, which is one of like the most artsy popular nightclubs. They have like drag shows there as well. But the fact that people are playing chess in a club like that, chess is in fashion. So the checkerboard, the chessboard should be in fashion too. The next trend I want to talk about are retro sneakers, and I have so many of them saved on Depop. These are pretty much brands such as Adidas, Puma, and Diesel that have styles from the early 2000s that are more on the skinny side and just have interesting shapes. Some of them have asymmetry, stuff like that, and those are all over Depop. I'm going to insert a whole bunch that I've saved on Depop, and I love all of these. There are also some brands that do a pointed toe, such as this Italian brand, and they're more similar to the Miss 60 boxing boots and things like that, but those kind of fit into the whole retro sneaker slash sporty shoe trend. But I also wanted to show, when I was in Italy, I got a pair of new Adidas shoes. They're a Taekwondo intended style, and they're pretty hard to find, but I didn't know that. I found them at 10 Corso Como, which is a Milan version of the Dover Street Market. Just a very similar kind of store concept to that, and I saw them in there, and considering it's a new shoe in that retro style, I figured that it would be a lot better to have something that could probably hold up better, be more durable, and just nicer condition in general. I'm sure I would love a pair of the actual vintage ones, and I think that from a brand such as Adidas and Diesel and Puma as well, they'd hold up really well. But it was cool to find a new style. I'm going to grab those right now to show you, and these will be in my haul where I talk about everything I got from Italy, from Rome, Florence, and Milan. But these are awesome. They're just so cool. I love the fact that they don't have laces, and yeah, just exactly this type of style of retro shoe that I love. When I was in Italy, I was trying to find the style to send to someone else who was in the US, and the only places I could find it were Italian websites. So I'm starting to think, did I accidentally find and buy something that you can only really get in Italy? I don't really know, but I'm happy I did, because I just saw them in the middle of a shoot. I was with a model that I was going to shoot after we had juice and like water and stuff from the cafe there, and literally in the middle of a shoot, I was just like, I need to buy them right now. So I'm glad I did that. Next up, I've noticed that cute little ceramic buttons in a very haphazard, random, playful, kind of childish style on clothing pieces and accessories has become very popular. I'm not going to go into the hugest detail, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I've seen Susie Lola wear a lot of pieces and accessories with this kind of button style, and also Sierra O'Day has a top with all of these buttons. I really like it. It's very playful, summer, just the light tones and just like ceramic and glowy summer. And then I always talk about capris, or at least I have for this spring as well, but I really would love a pair of nice slim fitting capris. I see Sierra O'Day once again wearing a lot, especially a polka dot set of capris that she recently got, and I love them. I love this exact shape. It's perfect with a kitten heel, and I just would love to do that style, especially for the summer. Isabella Vrana has a really great, I think it's called the Slim Fit capris, and they come in black and maybe some other colors like charcoal. I feel like the black capris would just go with everything, and I would wear that all the time. They're just so chic. I love it because it's like it's just such a beautiful look. I just love it. But I have yet to ever wear a single capri in possibly my life, so still on the hunt for that. As if I didn't just name a brand that I can not have to hunt for, but we'll see. I mean, I know I definitely want them. What is this rant? I definitely want them. I'm just trying not to buy a million things at once is what I'm trying. Yeah, you get the point. Polka dots, another recurring trend that is still alive and kicking this summer. And I would like to say that those stylist fitting photos, that whole world, also encompasses a lot of polka dot stuff. And Grey Room Shop, there's a lot of stuff that they post and sell that has this polka dot trend, perfectly fitted into this indie sleaze, haphazard, chic, amazing world. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just so like, it's in my head. It like the creative direction, it's just so satisfying, and I'm obsessed with it at the moment, and I want more of me to like fit around this amazingly effortless, haphazard, simple, chic, textured, like maximalist in a minimalist staging. I don't know, but it's so good and I love it. Amanda Simmons also has this amazing Adidas track jacket that's full of polka dots. It's like the coolest thing ever because it's this sporty track jacket, which are already very popular when mixing with longer skirts and putting track jackets and sporty things in feminine silhouettes. But the polka dots are just so cute, and it like makes it work even more. Like, it's supposed to work with that juxtaposition, but it just like pushes it even more, and I'm obsessed with it. And just wearing that with a skirt and heels, it's just like, oh, I love it. So yeah, polka dots. I want to get more pieces with polka dots. Slouchy tops are another favorite for the summer, especially because they're so effortless. They kind of embody a beach cover up, kind of just exploring, and just, I don't know. They're just so, just like, you know what I mean? Like Carrie Bradshaw. I'm gonna probably say this for every summer trend, because when I think about her like summer in the city, like just like the sweaty New York City, and just wearing something slouchy and effortless and chic, but also messy, and I love that. Two brands that have pioneered in recent times, pioneer is a crazy word to use, but in recent times have pioneered the newer trend of slouchy tops are Peachy Den and Paloma Wool, especially Paloma Wool, I think, but Peachy Den definitely dip into it with their two-piece sets and their off-the-shoulder kind of slouchy tops. I love this idea of coordinating colors together, and this especially is something I've seen through the brand you know, everyone messes this name up, and I'm like, it's fine. Gemaguis or whatever. They have these really cool t-shirts that are just like, so they literally look like a baggy t-shirt, but something about the way that they're styled on the model, it's just like, why is this not a baggy frumpy t-shirt anymore? I don't get it, but it's so cool. And then they have these big chunky belts that just are in the exact same color. Like, I'm picturing a red one. It's like a red t-shirt and a red belt, and it's just the most beautiful thing. I'm just like, that level of coordination, it's like you don't even have to try. It's like you have those pieces already, if you do, and then you'll just put them on, and then suddenly you're like the most put together person ever, even though you didn't really do anything. You just kind of had them. But it's like whenever you want to, it's like the best thing. I love having pieces that are so elevated and effortlessly simple that they can become your like going to the grocery store outfit, because they're already lined up in your wardrobe. You've carefully selected each one to make sure it really goes and really like elevates anything that you wear, and it's simple and it's comfortable, and you put it on and you're just always in a good outfit. So same concept, I love it. And then also, I've seen on Pinterest ever since the winter when the crazy mob wife aesthetic went haywire, and everyone was wearing leopard print or cheetah print, whatever. I don't really know the difference. I haven't really studied a leopard or a cheetah in ever, but I see people wear the tights with a matching like kitten heel of the same leopard print. I want to talk about drop waist dresses, and I'm gonna start with a skirt, which is not a dress, but I love the idea of like a drop waist dress that kind of has like a dip in the waist rather than just a full-on like drop, because I feel like the dip like adds this cool asymmetry, this flow of a silhouette. And I think the Peachy Den Diva skirt, I'm gonna picture it with like a little tiny black cami top, pretend it's a dress that way. It perfectly, like, it just does something that's just so good, and I really want that skirt because long skirts are hard for me as I'm very short, and I feel like with that really interesting dip, it would be a lot easier to wear and a lot more fun. I'd feel very feminine, and just like, it'll be this like floaty silhouette rather than just feeling so like trapped and swallowed in it. I also noticed that Vivienne Westwood has this beautiful white dress out. I went to the Vivienne Westwood store in Milan, which, side note, was like kind of a safe haven from Milan itself, because I'm just gonna go into a tangent. I was on an assignment with my friend Michael from the city, and both of us, I mean, like, I'd love to say like both of us, but Michael's style is like so interesting and amazing and just like unique and something that I don't see copied within other people. Like, I feel like Michael has such a beautiful sense of personal style that it's like not replicated, or you've just never seen it. I don't know, but you kind of have. I don't know. But Michael and I were like the only people on this trip that were wearing like anything remotely crazy. I don't think I have a crazy style, but I think that some of the things I was wearing was definitely not normal in Italy, let alone Milan. So we had an assignment where we go and document the fashion of the people in Milan, and they were so like mean to us. I don't know. So when we stepped in Vivienne Westwood, it was like the sales associate was so sweet, and we were just like playing dress up with them, and yeah, it was a good vibe, just because I'm gonna put their Instagram here too, as well as Michael's, because they're both so cool and so creative. This specific photo I'm obsessed with because, you know, I've been trying to do the Adidas pants with heels, and this is like so good. So good. So anyway, like, they were just like letting us play dress up. I mean, like, we definitely were trying to buy stuff. We weren't just trying to waste their time, but it was fun because we were just chatting about like being like-minded and like creative and stuff in like a very weirdly like stifling and yet fashion capital city. So I don't even know if like I'm giving enough context, because sometimes I just lack context in my stories. But Milan, I expected to be like a very fashion city, the way I'd expect New York and London and even maybe Paris, but it was very, very like simple, timeless kind of silhouettes, and everyone was just like almost like really following fashion rules, which I get, but I don't know. And Vivienne Westwood's really punk, so walking in and chatting with someone in that environment was really cool. But anyway, they had these really beautiful drop waist dresses, and then the other brand that I like for drop waist dresses and silhouettes like that is Nicholas Skarsgård. Always loved their work, and I've talked about it a couple times, especially for their bubble hems and stuff like that. The materials and just like the harmony of the creation of the dresses, so good. I really love the heeled flip-flop. I've never really been one to have open toe shoes because I hate toes and just seeing my toes. I'm like, I hate it, but there's something about it with a heel. Like, maybe I can get behind it, especially with like a capri. I've seen like Chloe Philopoulos wear these, and I'm just like, ooh, they're kind of so slay. Like, maybe. But we'll see. I think I probably will try it out. It seems really fun. But yeah, not much more to say on that. I want to talk about micro shorts again. I've talked about Lucilla Safdie, my fave. Someday I will have so many pieces of theirs, matching sets. I need them. They're so good. But again, for this whole indie sleaze world, I really, really, really love them, and I want to get more into them. I have one pair of like camo micro shorts that I wore a lot with tights, and I've featured in almost every video except anything that's really like winter. I also have a whole bunch saved on Depop that I really like, so I'm gonna like, again, while I yap, I'm gonna cycle through a couple of those because there's so many interesting ones. Also, I found one that's stripy, but it's like Philip Plein, and like, yeah, I hate Philip Plein. Like, I don't even get why he's a designer. He just feels so like, I don't know, like Miami bro, kind of not at all what fashion is about sort of person. Somehow these were cute, but anyway. Final trend I find really interesting because I said this in my spring trends video, linked above because it's the end, so now you should click on that one, that spring and summer this year are going to be more muted colors, and I still stand by that because I haven't really seen anyone going crazy with neon and stuff the way that we did in like 2020 and even 2016. It's very subdued and very much, again, about silhouette, structure, pattern rather than color. But I've noticed that Missoni, the brand, is getting popular again for summer, but it's interesting to me. I don't really love Missoni, but I think that the colorways are this really cool amalgamation of muted colors in like a summery way. Like, it brings that brightness and fun of summer, but in this muted way, if that makes sense. It definitely makes sense. This outfit that Chloe Philopoulos wore and this outfit Laura Adkins showed on her recent haul video. But yeah, I feel like it's the perfect way to bridge a neutral grayscale, muted colors, spring, summer with an actual summer color and the fun of summer that you'd seen through colors. So yeah, that is all I have today, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.